Hey everyone, back here doing another video. I just stopped recording after that match last night because I didn't really want to give away any more wins or losses or whatever by playing poorly. I was pretty tired and not feeling the best. I have actually, I'll go into this maybe a little more at the end of the video, but I have actually conveniently enough made a list very similar to what my opponent was doing, but with hexproof creatures, which I think could be reasonably strong. I did actually make that before my opponent, before I versed my opponent, but I did also forget to. Well, I chose not to sort of show it at the end of the last video, but. Go ahead and keep this. Opponent doesn't have a companion. We are on the play. We get a Bogle out, and then we can look to hopefully draw a land and cast 2 auras. Not my fine. I haven't worked out all the cogs of it yet though, so that's one of the reasons why I didn't show everyone the deck. Alright, so we do draw a white source. I think this is probably fine to go for Core Spirit Dancer here instead of the Dryad Arbor. It's our Horizon lands. We're taking a little bit of damage there, but it's not the end of the world by any stretch. I'm still pretty happy doing what we need to do here. Alright, so opponent's going to get that untapped trigger from the Amulet. 3 mana, comes the Dryad. Let's see what their next land is, but I don't think they can get more than 2 mana this turn unless they've got something funky like Explore, but looks like they're just casting the second Amulet, which is quite scary, by the way. Alright, so go ahead and get down my Hyena Umbra for Totem Armor on the Core Spirit Dancer here. Sentinel's Eyes is a really nice draw. I'm going to go ahead with Ethereal Armor though. Alright, we'll attack for 7. Hope that our Core Spirit Dancer doesn't get shot down into Oblivion. And then look for a big attack on the return. For our opponent shoots Core Spirit Dancer here, they'd have to deal 9 to it, and then they'd have to deal an extra 5 to it, so they have to do a total of 14. So what's that? Five targets from a Valakut. At which point they could just shoot down our life total. So I think Core's pretty okay at the moment, pretty safe. Alright, there's the explosives on 2. I'm not sure if my opponent realizes or not, but that's not going to work because it won't blow up the Ethereal Armor here. Only blow up the other auras. He might just plan to chump block the Core Spirit Dancer. Oh wow, he's gone for it now. If he did it during our combat step, we would have been much worse off. Alright, so opponents conceded the game from that. I guess I didn't quite know the interaction, but if that was explosives on 1, we probably would have lost that. So we're pretty fortunate that our opponent didn't play quite correctly. Alright, Suppression Field's probably not the best here. Stony Silence seems okay, because they are running the explosives. We did just see that. I think maybe we can bring in Stony Silence, -1 Core Spirit Dancer, and maybe 1 Keen Sense. Seems we're on the draw. I don't want to remove too many green sources because we want our Force of Vigor to be active. Get some description of sound going. Alright, we'll mulligan this hand. This hand looks much better. I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Mulligan decision here is a little bit tough. I think it's going to be Core Spirit Dancer. Just like, this is a pretty strong Bogle here that we get to attack with. So, alright, we draw the Scout. So if they do explosives, we have a second creature to go in on. We also have Lurrus now, which we can go in on. Next turn, pretty clean attack for 4 with Totem Armor Protection. Alright, and my opponent's got the Amulet here, but they can do something for 2 mana here, but they won't have more than 2 mana this turn, so that's good. A little bit slow from them this hand. Maybe an Explore, maybe just like an Ancient Stirrings or something. Alright, looks like nothing, so opponent's still playing set up here. Alright, here comes the Talaria West, so it looks like they are going to have access to Engineered Explosives here. At some point during this game. Alright, so that's an Azusa. Get ready, our opponent could do a lot this turn on the back of an Azusa. Alright, that's not the scariest land at all that they could play. They might be out of bounce lands here, actually. Or they might be saving the bounce lands for next turn. Okay, there's one bounce land. That's interesting, because they could have played Simic Growth Chamber, bouncing the other one, then played the second Growth Chamber, transmuted the Talaria West. I don't think my opponent's done that right at all. Alright, casual attack for 4 here. See what he does. I think it's okay casting Lurrus here. We don't have the 4th land drop, so waiting any longer, like, we're not guaranteed to get immediate value off of it. And this just, like, this forces them to have way more during this one turn here than just Engineered Explosives off of transmuting Talaria West. So, like, they have to have much more here. Okay, here comes the Summoner's Pact into Primeval Titan. It's probably going to get Slayer's Stronghold and that thing that gives it haste. It's going to attack, get 2 more land triggers. Okay, yeah, Valakut. Oh yeah, that's one I meant. It's not Slayer's Stronghold, it's this one that taps for 1 mana here instead. Essentially the same thing. I don't know. I think the difference is you can get Valakut into play here, and then he can look to burn my Lurrus with some land triggers. My opponent's going to have a lot of land triggers here. I might just be straight dead. So it could also be a Guardian, Dryad of the Elysian Grove, pardon me. Give him an extra land drop again. All land types, and then his Valakult's online. If we're not dead this turn, we pretty much need to draw exactly Daybreak Coronet, I think. We've got the Griff's Burn, which means we can attack for 6, and then we need to do another 6 damage on top of that, and an Ethereal Armor would give us 5. A Daybreak Coronet would give us 4 but some life. I think we're just falling slightly short. Flooded out on creatures here. If we get to block here, we'll block the Azusa, but it's extremely unlikely we get to block. He'll just give Primetime double strike, probably. No, just Vesuva, lots of damage to the face. Okay, sure. Probably one trigger's going to go at the Lurrus and then race to face. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 damage from Valakults, plus Lurrus is dead, plus the damage from the attack, which is another 7. Alright, so on the play, this deck's pretty strong, hey. I mean, he could have just shot us in the face then instead of pointing damage at Lurrus. We're just dead. Alright, so do we want to change anything on the draw? Probably not. Explosives might be a little bit greedy. Oh, sorry, Stony Silence for the explosives might be a little bit greedy. I'll streamline it again on the play. Sure, we'll keep this. Looks really good. So yeah, this deck's still about. It's still really strong. I'm pretty sure we would have lost game 1 if he didn't mess up his engineered explosives there. He would have just got way too much value when we attacked, and then untapped and gone off and all of that rubbish. But yeah, that's not what happened, fortunately. A Radiant Fountain. Okay, that's a little bit annoying. He's going to be bouncing that a million times. Okay, another Daybreak Coronet. That's going to be pretty nice. Hopefully we can draw one more mana source, so we're able to cast a minimum of 2 auras in this next turn. Okay, it looks like my opponent doesn't have an Amulet, and he might just be going off of a turn 3 Guardian here. So we could be in a really good spot here. They've done nothing so far. Force of Vigor, excellent. So we'll hold that Dryad Arbor in hand, of course. Dryad Arbor can be pitched to Force of Vigor because it's green. Alright, so it looks like we only get 1 attack here. Oh, this is pretty funky. We can actually blow up our own Rancor if he casts Dryad of Elysian Grove here. And then we get an extra draw trigger with the Core Spirit Dancer, which I think is probably worth doing. We do force pitching Dryad Arbor, and then target Rancor Dryad of the Elysian Grove. Draw a card for our turn. Cast Rancor, draw another card. Hope to see a white source in those 2 cards. Cast Daybreak Coronet. Or even if we don't see a white source, we've got like... Maybe we draw another green card for the second Force of Vigor. I think that's probably our best line. It's like in this little mini series I'm doing here, I've gotten 2 wins from 2 matches against Titan decks, and well, Reclamation Sage is, if anything, helping us here. It's maybe fortunate we didn't draw land, because we would have lost a Daybreak. But right now, this is all looking pretty good to me. We only get sort of blown out here if he's got Force of Vigor. Blow up our 2 auras, get a free kill on our creature, but doesn't look like that's the case at the moment. We got a 9/9, they're down to 9 life as well. That Radiant Fountain's not going to be able to stem the bleeding for much longer for them. I think, yeah, maybe they just kept a really awkward hand here. They needed to draw like 1 thing and didn't draw it. It looks like they missed a land drop too, maybe. Or maybe they're just... No, they haven't, because they bounced the Radiant Fountain and then played it again afterwards. But if Amulet Titan decks did this all the time, I'd be very happy to verse them all the time. Explosives on 0? Oh man, he's tapped it for 1 and he's misclicked the thing. That's pretty frustrating for my opponent. Even if he did that, I had the Force of Vigor in hand. I could end of turn, blow up the engineered explosives, recast Rancor, cast Daybreak Coronet, and win the game that way. So, pretty unfortunate for my opponent. Maybe he's new to Magic Online. And isn't quite all in with all the different little tricks that you need to be doing. Alright, so that takes us up to a 57% win rate in 44 games. See if we can continue, get another win in the final round, of course. I'm just going to quickly go over the premise of this deck. I'll do a proper analysis later on. But the premise of what I've done here, why I think it could potentially be good, and why maybe I think it's sort of bad. Alright, so for people that don't know, Segards Aid gives your auras and equipment spells flash. And whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to a creature you control. Obviously, there's Colossus Hammer. There was a lot of hype around this Segards Aid and Colossus Hammer interaction when the Colossus Hammer was printed. And yeah, so turn 1 Boggle, turn 2 Segards Aid and Colossus Hammer, attack for 11, and then, you know, turn 3, do some other stuff, and you got the win. Or just attack again and you win. So what I've done here, the reason why I think it's good in, or could be good in Bogles, first of all, is because our 1-drops have hexproof, right? And if that's the case, then the only creature removal that's going to get us is like Abrupt Decay and Assassin's Trophy, maybe even Malmstrom Pulse, because they're the ones that can target the swords to Plowshare, etc., all of that. Might be a little bit awkward against counter magic, but most of the control decks I've been running into at the moment aren't actually playing like Mana Leak or Logic Knock or Spell Snare or whatever 2-mana counterspell, or even Remand. Like maybe Remand seeing the most play out of all of them, and that's in the Urian decks. But most of them are just on Icefang Coddle into Archmage's Charm, and you know that's about it really. So we have to worry about a turn 2 counterspell against control decks less than what we ever have before, which I think is a pretty important thing to consider. And yeah, other than that, so you've pretty much just got your rock decks that can interact with it, and that's about it. And then you're just versing all the other aggro or combo and whatever else. Like turn 2 attack for 11 is massive, absolutely massive. Alternatively, if you can't do turn 2 attack for 11, like if you do turn 1 scout, maybe you drop a couple of auras or an all that glitters on your scout. Turn 3 Stoneforge Mystic, get an aura, get an equipment, pardon me. Turn 4 you can, turn 1 scout, turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, and then turn 3 you can cast Segards Age plus whatever equipment you draw. That's the line I was going for. At, you know, uncounterable, drop the spell seems pretty strong. So the Stoneforge Mystic I've just put in the place of Core Spirit Dancer. Core Spirit Dancer you're not really getting any value out of. Just because, you know, you've only got, I've only got what is it, 4, 8, 9, I've got 12 auras in the deck. So I've got 3 Ethereal Armor, 4 Hyena Umbra, and 3 All That Glitters, and then the 2 Sentinel's Eyes. It could have easily been like 4 Ethereal Armor, 4 All That Glitters, but I really like Sentinel's Eyes, and in those creature matchups, having Vigilance and First Strike is going to be very important. Just put that small amount of damage in your initial turns that you don't have the combo active during, and then after you've done that, like Totem Armor is important because Wrath effects, right? Sentinel's Eyes is important, as we've seen in the other versions of the deck that I've been playing, because Vigilance is really, really strong, and it's very strong with First Strike. All the glitters I'm just in love with because it gets buffed on all of your different random artifacts you're going to be getting here. And the only other thing I need to go into on this is the fact that obviously no Daybreak Coronet, the lack of auras just makes it like way too easy for it to get put into the graveyard. It's really not worth your time. You're just better off with something like All That Glitters, in my opinion. But I've also gone up to 22 land to try and hit 3 mana by turn 3 more reliably, so you'll be able to do turn 1 Boggle, turn 2 Stoneforge, turn 3 drop Segards Aid plus whatever equipment of your choice that you want onto your creature. I did play a couple of matches with it, and Sword of Feast and Famine is probably your go-to. The problem with it being is you can't have, because it gives protection from green, you can't have Rancor on your creature or it will fall into the graveyard. Which is maybe a reason why I don't want Sword of War and Peace, because it gives pro white. But if you turn 3 attack for, you know, it's probably 3 damage, attack for 3 damage, deal damage to them, untap your lands, they discard a card. This is like the reverse of your Keen Sense, right? So instead of you drawing a card, they discard a card. Card advantage wise, it's still really important to us. Like we win out a lot from that. Alternatively, Sword of Fire and Ice, pro red and blue, deals damage to their creatures. I would absolutely love to have this card against something like the Collected Company, Devoted Druid, and Viscera deck. Like, just start pinging their creatures every time I attack. That seems incredibly strong. Sword of Signu, when it deals damage to a player, you can destroy a Planeswalker or an artifact, so you can get rid of your Ensnaring Bridge, potentially, if your creature's small enough to do it. If not, get rid of Chalice, get rid of a Planeswalker that's going to be an issue. The really nice thing about the deck is it's a lot less weak to Chalice. And the other thing about it is it's less weak to Chalice, less weak to Engineered Explosives, and it's got more versatility in what, like, you tutor for situationally, so there's a lot more decision making. I don't know if it's consistent enough to be better, out and out better than what we're currently doing, and I think there's going to be certain metagames where this is better or worse, but I'm still in, as I said before, in the tuning stage for the deck. I've sort of given you a pretty good rundown on it though, and what my thoughts have been so far with the whole thing. So yeah, if you want to see this, I'm probably going to do a video on it on the weekend, like a league with it. But if you want to see me play the deck, if you have any suggestions for the deck, let me know in the comments, and I'm pretty happy to represent it and show you guys something a little bit different, a different take. Honestly, like, removing aggro, like the aggressiveness of the deck and the shell of what it is, you need like a pretty good reason to do that. And I'm not saying this is perfect or it's good enough, but it's, at the very least, it's something to keep in the back of your minds for if they ever print like another good artifact, like another Colossus Hammer. Imagine if they printed another card like this, or a second iteration of Segards Aid. They have actually got an instant. I'll just pull it up quickly. So this is the card I've got in mind, sort of. It's Magnetic Theft, and for 1 red mana, at instant speed, you can attach an equipment you control to target creature. So that could be a second way. A second way to, you know, attach your equipments on outside of Segards Aid. Maybe we'd want to run like 2 of or 3 of instead of the total 8. The issue with it being, of course, it's red. And 3-color mana bases can be very awkward. The good thing about this is because you don't need double white on turn 2, you can probably look to get a little bit greedier with your mana base. Like, you just need essentially green white and then in like a red green or a red white. So your Sacred Foundry, your Stomping Ground, like one of each, and all of a sudden that card's enabled. I've got 8 fetches in here, like, sorry, 7 fetches in here. Like, I think I could easily tweak this land base to accommodate it. And worst case scenario, you could always go the route of City of Brass, Mana Confluence, something like that, to also accommodate it. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's pretty funky and different. Unfortunately, because of the lack of green, utilization of like Force of Vigor seems like it would be pretty weak to me. So we might need to look at like Seal of Primordium or something instead in that slot. But like, I'm mucking about. I'm having some fun. I'm hopefully gonna make something relatively consistent or different here. And if nothing else, it's something a little bit quirky where people go, oh my god, he attacks for 11 on turn 2. It might not be the most consistent thing in the world, but we'll see what happens, and we'll play test it forward going into the future. And if it's good enough, I'll put up some videos on it and all of that. So it took a little bit longer on this video, but yeah, thanks very much for watching, everyone. Especially if you stayed to the end. And other than that, I'll hopefully see you all tomorrow and on the weekend for some more fun. Cheers.